क्या अजब विस्तार हर जगह देखूं मैं तेरा सिंगार। वृक्ष झरने फूल सब में तू साकार, इसलिए मुझको सृष्टि से है प्यार।
A spirituality of creation. Dear brothers and sisters, to mark the 5th anniversary of the encyclical letter Laudato Si, Pope Francis has declared May 16 to 24, 2020 as the Laudato Si week. Through this celebration, the Pope once again invites humanity all over the world to care for creation, our common home. This celebration prompted me to reflect with you today on the spirituality of creation. Laudato Si meaning, praise be to you, which is the first line of the Canticle of Saint Francis of Assisi, that praises God with all of His creation, makes us aware of two important aspects of our responsibility towards the creation of God, which we human beings need to pay attention to if we want to survive on this earth. 1. The environmental degradation for which we human beings are responsible, resulting in global warming today. 2. The power and the responsibility God has entrusted to human beings to care, protect, and to preserve the earth, our common home. In other words, the encyclical is an invitation for us to set our relationship right with our planet Earth. The biblical writings clearly demonstrate a close relationship between Christianity and ecology, while focusing on the stewardship of God's creation and the responsibility for its care. Sadly, over the years, we have either forgotten or taken for granted our interconnectedness and dependency on the Mother Earth, resulting in an ecological crisis today. And so it is time we rediscovered that creation with all its mystery and beauty is at the service of humankind. To do so, first and foremost, we need to realize that the earth is God's possession. We are only the stewards of creation. Among all the creatures, it is to the man and the woman God entrusted the earth and the responsibility not just to draw nourishment from the earth, but also to care for it. Since then, God does not involve Himself directly in the creation. He has made the human beings the co-creators with Him. Through us, God desires that the process of creation continues and develops. Having created us in the image and likeness of God, we human beings are mandated to remain close to creation and to communicate with creation with tenderness and love and make creation productive. Today, this responsibility all the more demands that we pay attention to sun and stars, to water and wind, plants and trees, animals and birds, and love and respect them as our companions on our journey. I believe the reason why we have landed up in an ecological crisis today is that we have failed to see God revealing Himself to us in various and vivid forms in the nature, the second book of Revelation. Pope Francis draws our attention to this aspect in the encyclical, where he writes, "Creation itself, the other book, the magnificent book in which God speaks to us, and grants us a glimpse of His infinite beauty and goodness. Referring to the creation, in the 16th century, St. Bernard said something beautiful. You will find more in the woods than you will find in books. Trees and rocks will teach you things no master can ever tell you. St. Augustine referred to the creation as the gospel of creation. In one of his sermons, he beautifully highlighted this aspect, saying, some people read a book in order to discover God, but there is a greater book, the actual appearance of created things. Look above you and look below you, and note and read. The God that you want to discover did not write in letters of ink, but in front of your eyes the very things that He made. Can you ask for a louder voice than that? Thus, from the writings of mystics and great saints like Francis of Assisi, we realize that creation is a powerful means to experience and relate to God. God manifests His goodness and beauty through the living creatures, because God is embodied in each creature. Each creature is a reflection of beauty and diversity of God the Creator. St. Thomas Aquinas looked at the living creatures as incarnations of the divine. In his great work, Summa Theologica, he wrote, God cannot express Himself fully in any one creature, and so He has produced many and diverse life forms, so that what one lacks in its expression of divine goodness may be compensated for by others. For goodness, which is God in single and undifferentiated, in creatures is refracted into myriad hues of being. Therefore, when we look at the creation, we are in the physical presence of God. I am with God and in God, and God is in me. When we go to the woods, or to the garden, or up the mountain, or walk by the ocean, I am going there to be with God, where God is unfolding Himself to me. Every visit to the garden or to the farm is an invitation to move closer to God. This brings us to the realization that over the years, it is our greed and power that has led us to exploit and dominate the earth, resulting in an ecological crisis today. We Christians seem to have forgotten an important aspect of our vocation, namely, to be the protectors of God's handiwork. Over the years, some devout Christians, with the excuse of realism and pragmatism, have taken for granted the concern for the environment. On the other hand, some others have been passive. Therefore, we need an interior conversion. As a community of followers of Christ, we need to reread the book of Genesis to understand what God meant when He said, "Be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it, rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, and over every living creature that moves on the ground." Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. It is time that we took seriously the wake-up call given by Pope Francis to humanity when he says, "Our common home is being pillaged, land laid waste and harmed with impunity. Cowardice in defending it is a grave sin. We cannot allow certain interests, which are global but not universal, to take over, to dominate states, to international organizations, and to continue destroying creation." Therefore, brothers and sisters, this calls for an ecological conversion. We need to realize more and more that our encounter with Jesus Christ in the Holy Eucharist need to take us closer to creation, where the Lord is present to us in another form. We need a change in lifestyle, production, and consumption in order to combat the warming or at least the human causes which produce or aggravate it. This is a call for us humans to make a shared commitment to help build and strengthen constructive attitudes aimed at caring for creation, our common home. Let me conclude by quoting the message of Pope Francis, who hopes and believes that we humans have all the power to rise to the occasion when he says, "Human beings, while capable of the worst, are also capable of rising above themselves, choosing again what is good and making a start despite their mental and social conditioning." We are able to take an honest look at ourselves, to acknowledge our deep dissatisfaction, and to embark on new paths to authentic freedom. Let's then celebrate Laudato Si week in simple and creative ways to mark the anniversary by committing ourselves to keep our environment clean and green. Let's make the earth our common home, a heaven on earth that we and our future generations can live joyfully, happily, and in good health.
तेरा तेज जग में बसा है, तेरा नूर सबसे जुदा, तुझे कोई जान न पाया, तू महान है ओ खुदा। ये धरा तेरी क्या अजब विस्तार, हर जगह देखूं मैं तेरा सिंगार, वृक्ष झरने फूल सब में तू साकार, इसलिए मुझको सृष्टि से है प्यार।